Hello, welcome to my channel, Edible Thoughts Makes. This channel is where I share with you my works in progress, finished projects, things I'm cooking up, books I'm reading, funny things my kids may say. My hope is that as you watch this episode and the previous episodes that you find some inspiration along the way. This is episode 63. It is already July, year 2021. I feel like every time we get to the first of the month, it's like, where did the last month go? I feel this especially during this pandemic where things are still a little strange in the way time passes. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think part of it is that you don't have things throughout the day or week or months that mark a time. I feel like we take in a lot of different inputs from our environment, and you might think, oh, I did that when I don't know, went down, a set of stairs, or I remember seeing that building that we went by, or remember that time when you forgot your water bottle at home, or I don't know, there's like things marked by different things. Some of those seem pretty trivial, but it's how we or I remember things, like to the last time of whenever something happened. But when you don't have those little things and everything's kind of the same, your days just kind of pass on by. So a Wednesday may very well feel like a Monday, or a Tuesday feels like a Thursday, which at least this is the way I'm going to explain why I, on Tuesdays by the end of the day feel like it's supposed to be Friday. Or that could just be the reality of living with young children. So anyway, welcome. If you are new here, welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, I always enjoy you spending a little time with me here on this channel, in this creative outlet. It has been hot here, not as hot as the heat wave that is hitting the Pacific Northwest. We had that heat wave come through earlier, and right now, it's still like mid-high 80s, which is hot, but not like 100 degrees hot. And I feel like it's kind of unfair for people to say to those in the Pacific Northwest that, oh, it isn't that hot, stop complaining. Like, I feel like it's similar to in Texas, when they were getting really, really cold temperatures, below freezing, like people had pipes bursting and like icicle chandeliers in the middle of their living room. And some people would say, oh, it isn't that cold, like stop whining. I feel like that's totally unfair and not okay to say, because different areas are set up for different environments. Not everybody has central air conditioning, not everybody has heating. Because typically during the summers, it might not get hot enough to need those things, or in the winter to need the extra heating. And so when you get the extreme temperatures, there are areas that just aren't equipped for that. And a lot of times these extreme temperatures come all of a sudden, and there's been little to no preparation. And if people are suffering regardless of how that temperature feels like to you or what you are used to. If it's hot, it's hot, and I hope that those that are affected by the heat wave are finding ways to stay hydrated and stay cool. Pulling the shades closed can help keep some of the heat out, and just drinking water when you can. But I hope the heat wave passes soon and that people can find a more comfortable environment to be in. In the beginning of this video, I will have inserted some footage from the Arboretum that we took a mini field trip to. So many flowers in bloom, and it is just a beautiful place to be. We love going there. During, like earlier in the pandemic, so last year, I believe they just shut down completely for a while, even though it is an outdoor area. There is like a visitor center. And now you make a reservation to go, but you can like walk around. There is still like a drive-through option as well, but you can walk the grounds, and it's huge, and there's just so much space to run around and so many flowers in bloom. There are tons of lilies. There are dahlias. Some of the earlier dahlias are in bloom, and they're gorgeous. Our dahlias have not bloomed yet. I feel like it's closer to end of July, August maybe that they bloom, but it's definitely lily season. If half of our lilies didn't get eaten by deer, we would have more lilies in bloom at our house. But like, I think some of the lilies are 5.5 feet tall and right at deer level, and they just mowed it down across the top. I think 2 blooms have survived. We'll see if the rest get to bloom again, because there are multiple buds on there. It's just the top that got mowed off. The hostas are also in bloom. We have some hostas in bloom. Again, some of them have been completely mowed down by the bunnies. Usually I will go out early in the morning to kind of check to see the damage overnight, and then we look again in the evening to check on all the flowers in the garden and stuff. So that's that part of it. Captions are provided on all of my videos. They may not be there when the video first uploads because YouTube takes a while to put in the automated captioning or closed captioning, and then I go in and edit it for accuracy and add in some video descriptions as well. But usually I am able to get in there within a week to get all of that uploaded, not uploaded, all of that edited. And so the closed captioning should be provided then. Links to what I talk about are in the description box below. I will have a separate section that has like designer or yarn dyer websites, and then another section that's clearly marked that are Ravelry specific project pages to access stuff about my projects that I talk about here. What else? I wanted to talk about a Kickstarter that I had I guess backed or helped backed. I mean, I didn't back the whole thing obviously, but I had helped back, I guess. It is Radicle Threads, Radicle. And the founders are Shobha, Caroline, and Elizabeth. And it's a pretty cool magazine, if I do say so myself, but it's not just a magazine. They have a website, and I will try to put up on the screen here like one of those scrolly things from the website, so you can look up and check that. But they sell t-shirts and pins and just other fun like merchandise. So the Radicle Threads magazine, they are independently published in print and a digital form, and their main focus is on crafting, food, gardening, and basically the arts. Their goal is to create a space where Black, Brown, Indigenous, and Melanated people, or BBIMP, their stories are told and heard and seen. And the first issue is coming out in the fall with an emphasis on roots, so exploring ancestry through art. And they are open to submissions for future future publications, and there's a theme for each one. For example, the next one after this one publishing in the fall is called Growth, and then I think they're listed all the way through maybe fall of 2023. And so they are always looking for patterns, articles, bloggers, and recipes, and you can go onto their website and submit your proposal. You don't have to have all the details hashed out yet, just a proposal for what you would like to possibly have published in their magazine. And what else? The current one for the next publication, the deadline I believe is July 10th. They also have an Instagram account. Let me see if I can pull that up here just to make sure I tell you the correct information. Yeah, for issue 2, that's the word I'm looking for, issue 2. They are, let's see, their deadline was the end of June, but it's been extended to July 10th. So go ahead and get to their website. I will put it up on the screen here, and also link it down in the description box below. If you missed the July 10th deadline, not a big deal. They have open calls for submissions for future issues as well. I will say that I've been thinking of ideas, but I don't have something that I feel like is hashed out enough to submit a proposal yet. So I don't know, I'll keep thinking. So I hope you take a look at their website and consider submitting a proposal. All right, so as far as finished projects, I have three, and then I can't really share one of them because the kids have it, and then the other one is the one that I am wearing. So I guess I'm going to start with the ones that the kids have. I will put pictures here on the screen, so make sure to take a look. I sewed 2 mermaid dolls for the kids, and everything was material that I had on hand, repurposed, upcycled. And so that was really fun. I used for like the head, body, tail sections, like a basic paper pattern. And you can draw one yourself. I think I just on Pinterest searched for like a DIY mermaid doll. Excuse me. And then the rest I just kind of made up as I went. And excuse me, I have like a burp stuck in my throat. Do you ever get like a burp stuck in your throat? One second. Okay. So for the main skin part of the mermaid, I used a really light green, and that's from a really old bed sheet. It's like probably 20 plus years old. It was starting to kind of fray and get kind of like really thin spots that are easily tearable. So I've been using that fabric for just like random projects. It is slightly stretchy. I don't think it's 100% cotton. So it isn't necessarily ideal for all projects, but I thought for this mermaid it would work. So I cut that out for that, and then for the tail I had some cotton flannel that was from the remnants bin of a fabric store, and it kind of had like a wave or scale-like pattern to it. And looking at it later, I think I should have done it the other way around so that the scales would be more like, you know, curved with a curve facing down versus up, but it works. It's fine. For the stuffing, I used all those like yarn tail ends that are used to tie like skeins or hanks of yarn together, and just like itty bitty scraps, plus a little bit of polyester fiber fill that I left over from other projects. And the hair on the top part, I used felt just from our felt bin of random pieces of felt that I've collected from also remnant sections of fabric stores over the years. And then I found I used some yarn, just like acrylic craft yarn that I've had also for years, and matched that to the felt, and I looped it around a book, and then kind of like you would making a tassel, tied the top, and then I sewed with the machine it to the inside of the felt hair so that it would have a little more secure, it would be a little more securely attached. And then after I put that on top of the mermaid head, then I hand stitched all the way around. So hopefully it's hair will probably still fall out if the kids tug on it, but it's secure enough. And then I embroidered on the eyes and the lips with sewing thread, just quadrupled. I don't think I have any embroidery thread, so my mom has always taught me to just use, like, have it, the sewing thread, you know, you fold it in half and then fold it in half again before threading in your needle. What else? Oh, and then I crocheted little cute crop tops for the mermaids, and that I used fingering weight sock yarn. I had the kids pick out the colors that they wanted, and it was really fun. I've been crocheting probably for like 30 years. And just kind of made up a pattern as I went. I can do that more with crochet than I can with knitting. I feel like because with crochet, you only have one live stitch on the hook at a time, so to like rip out and start over isn't really a big deal, or just to rip back a little bit and start again isn't a big deal. It just doesn't take as long, and then because the stitches are bigger, you also cover more ground quicker. And in my mind, I can picture like where I want shaping to be, how I want things to connect, and I just have a better grasp of like the 2D to 3D aspect of it, I guess. So I crocheted it bottom up. I just kind of made like the front panel all the way up. When I got to the shoulder section, I just worked like one shoulder strap all the way up so that I could crisscross in the back, and then once it got long enough, then I went to the other side, attached it to like the side of the front, and then I think single or maybe single crocheted or slipped, I don't really remember, all the way up the side until I got to the other shoulder. Then I crocheted over the same number of stitches for the same width, made that strap, crisscrossed it in the back, and then attached it to the front bottom other side. And yeah, that's it. So I made it all in one piece, and it's stretchy enough to slip on over the top of the mermaid or through the tail part. So it's super cute. Oh, and then I made like a super cute little bottom hem. I forgot about that part. I think when I was going back across, oh, maybe when I finished attaching it, then I did the bottom hem. And then that was kind of like a combination puff stitch, shell stitch type of thing. I don't really know. I just made it up as I went. I think I did a double, like 4 double crochets into one loop, and then maybe single crocheted into the next one, or slip stitched into the next one, something like that, and then just went across the bottom. So super cute. The kids love it. I don't have it to show you because kids have them, and they've been playing with them nonstop, and that is a win-win situation for me. I loved making them. They love playing with them, so super happy about that. And then I also made like a little backpack. Also crocheted that one, and it has like 2 little straps, and it's just like a little pouch bag, and really cute. The kids have been making like tiny little books with just like scrap pieces of paper stapled in the middle, and then they have some like tiny color pencils that they'll just stick the pencil and the little book in the backpack of the mermaid, and it's so cute. I love it. What are you drinking today? I have iced Earl Grey with a little soy milk, and it is so good and refreshing. All right, so the next finished project I'd like to share with you today is the one that I am wearing. I am so excited about this. I knit it in a little over a week, I think. I can't remember. DK weight sweaters are kind of my sweet spot. They just feel really good in hand, and this one is knit up on a US 8 or 5mm needle, so like a slightly looser gauge, and it just feels really good. Another thing to note is that since I am a smaller size, it also won't take as long as someone knitting maybe a bigger size, so keep that in mind. I mean, I do knit pretty often and maybe fairly quickly, but just being the nature of knitting a smaller size, it's going to go quicker than someone knitting a bigger size. It is not a race. I also feel like, you know, we think of knitting as maybe like a slow craft, but at the same time, I see all these things about like must knit faster or how to knit faster, and I don't know. I don't really try to knit faster. It's more like it's exciting to me, and I want to get to the next color, and I want to wear it. In general, I think of myself as a product knitter, but I think everybody is kind of a combination of a product or process knitter. What that means is like a product, well, to me, what that means is a product knitter, you're like getting to the finish line, like you want that product. You might not like ripping back as often or frogging back as often, and you're drawn to like the finished product. Whereas a process knitter or process maker is someone who really enjoys the process, doesn't mind ripping back. Sometimes they're sad when a project is finished because they really enjoyed making it. And of course, these are just like big generalizations. For me, like, I pick a project based on how I think I am going to wear it or enjoy it at the end and how it looks. Does it fit into my wardrobe? I mean, if this is for myself. I mean, if it's for someone else too, I want to make something that I think would fit into their lifestyle or their wardrobe as well. But I'm not going to pick something that I can't see myself wearing or using, or if it's just not like realistically functional in my life, I guess. That being said, I have to enjoy the process. I will not make something just to make something either. I guess I don't know if I'm like super picky about it, but there are definitely things over the years that I've learned that I enjoy and things that I don't enjoy. If it's something that I have to focus really hard on, then I probably won't make it. If it's too fussy, I probably won't make it. But yes, back to this. This is the V Back T DK version by Jamie of Knitosophy, and I will put that information on the screen now. It'll also be in the description box below. I knit mine using 3 DK skeins that are one of a kind because they were from a mystery bag, grab bag by Gwen of Bella Filato Studio. I adore these colors. I did not know what I was getting ahead of time. She must know me well because these are totally my colors. Let me pull up my information about this in my project notebook. Let's see if I can find it here. Here it is. Okay, so I knit size 2 for a 32-inch chest circumference for a finished circumference of 33 inches. Let's see. I did not do a gauge swatch because I wasn't sure on yardage. And I figured if it was slightly smaller or slightly bigger, I wasn't going to be too concerned about it. She intends it to fit with a 1 to 3 inches of positive ease. The stockinette gauge is 17 stitches by 26 rounds for 4 inches. And the ribbing is done on US 6 or 4mm needles, and the main part is done on US 8 or 5mm needles, and I followed those needle recommendations. Something I absolutely love about Jamie's patterns is that she spells everything out for you. And if you have questions, she is available for help. And I really appreciate that because sometimes you get stuck on one part, and if you are asking for help or support on a pattern and someone doesn't get back to you, it's super frustrating and sometimes you just stop making it. But Jamie does not leave you hanging. She helps you out. She's super responsive. That being said, I didn't really have any problems with this pattern. Or not with the pattern, but like following it. It has so many diagrams. It tells you like where your, where your stitch markers are supposed to go for, your increases. It gives you a diagram. It walks you through the color transitions. And what's really cool about this is that you can knit it in 1 color, 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors, as many colors as you want, but she gives you the measurements for when to do your color transitions depending on which color format you choose to do. Like, that's pretty cool. I chose to do mine in a 3 color format, and I'll kind of get on my knees here for a little bit so you can see it better. We're a little bit backlit here, so it might be hard to see, but I just love how it turned out. Now, it is a V back tee, so, the V could be in the back, but this is totally reversible. You can wear the V in the front, you can wear the rounded scoop neck in the back, or flip it around. It is comfortable both ways. I'm wearing the V in the front because I find that really comfortable right now and I really like it this way. Sleeve length, you can also do to whatever sleeve length you want. She, I think, has it in the pattern for you to do the ribbing pretty shortly after the sleeve separation from the body. I chose to do elbow length because I find that comfortable and I like it elbow length. yeah, I did not run out of yarn. I wasn't sure initially. I will show you my yarns here on what I have left. I didn't do a total, let's see, I could do a quick total math here on a calculator, but of how much I ended up using. But here is my first color. It's this creamy color with speckles of purple, plum, pink, kind of a red-orange, and it knit up really nicely. My second color was this peachy variegated yarn with washes of pink and lavender. And then my third color was a tonal, which is this beautiful vibrant purple. So that was really fun, right? I had a speckled, a variegated, and a tonal. And they worked so well together. So the shaping of this was new to me. I've never done one like this before, where you have like your stitches in this V all the way down in the front, and then in the back, it's straight. And then you have short rows that kind of even out your front and the back. Super cool, right? I really enjoyed it. I thought it's like visually really interesting, but it was also really interesting to knit and not frustrating. And that's really important to me. Interesting, not frustrating. So let me just do my math here real quick. I ended up using about 620 yards total for this tee. The only thing that I changed was the sleeve length. And I think my body length probably came out slightly longer too, but maybe like an inch at most. And again, if you block it, you can kind of block it to whatever dimensions work for you. I mean, kind of. You can kind of like stretch it whichever way. And I feel like my measurements actually came out pretty close to what her blocked measurements state in the pattern. Another thing that I really like is that she gives you a schematic that shows, I think, like 10 or 12, 15 different measurements. And I find that really helpful when you are trying to customize a garment to fit your body or the way that you want to wear it. That way you also know, okay, when I get to maybe picking up for the sleeves, I want it to be, you know, size 5 for the sleeves instead of size 2 for the sleeves. Or the length, I want it to match, I don't know, whatever other size that you want to match it to, and so you can really customize it to fit you. I don't think I have anything else left to say about this project. I recommend giving it a try. I think maybe if you're just starting out, I don't know if I would pick something that has like all these color transitions and the short rows and things like that as your very first sweater, but if you are an adventurous beginner, I say go for it. It is really fun and super enjoyable and quick-ish knit. There is a fingering weight version of this tee as well, and so I think a lot of people have knit that one as a summer weight tee, and yeah. All right, so on to works in progress. I have not really touched the Darren tee since I've been working on this V-back tee, although I would like to. I am on, like, you would say, like the easier part now. It's just the round and round stockinette on the body, and yeah, so I will get on that one. But as you may know, I am not a monogamous maker, and so I have cast on a couple of other things. My summer solstice socks are almost done. I mean, I'm getting there. They're kind of just vanilla sock knitting, so I can take it wherever and pick it up and put it down whenever. But I am participating in Chantel's Mud Punch knit along, and that is using her self-striping yarns. And yeah, you should check out her Instagram if you would like more information on that. I am using US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, and I am doing my magic loop because my US 1 2.25 9-inch circulars are in use on the summer solstice socks. These are ChiaoGoo 32-inch needles, and I have some like tiny balls of yarn that are remaining from previous projects, from previous socks, and I am going to make shorty socks with them. So these ones happen to be about 13 grams each, and I think, if I am remembering correctly, with this weight of yarn, I usually get 10 rounds for 2 grams. So with 13 grams, I should get about 65 rounds, I think. So what I'm going to do is knit the cuff in this Knit Picks Hawthorn fingering yarn. This colorway is called Daphne. I love this soft pink. It's a tonal. And I'm going to knit that cuff, knit maybe an inch of a leg, depending on how long I knit the cuff, and then do the shadow wrap heel in this solid color as well, and then start my feet with these little bits of self-striping yarn. I will knit them until they run out, and if I need maybe 5-ish more rounds before I start the toe, I'll go back to the solid color and just start the toe, I guess, toe a little early, or finish off the foot in that, and then knit my toe in that. This is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, the Mud Punch self-striping yarn, and the Knit Picks is also an 80-20, but it's 80% superwash Highland wool instead of merino, and 20% nylon, and their weights come out to be about the same. The Knit Picks, I think, is 357 yards for 100 grams, and the Mud Punch is 385 yards, but for 110 grams. So they both end up coming to be about 3.5 or 3.57 yards per gram. I like to use similar weights if I'm going to use like a different yarn for a contrast color, just so the fit and the gauge ends up being similar throughout. So I have just cast on the cuff. I am doing a 2x2, which is knit 2 purl 2 for the ribbing, known as a 2x2 ribbing, and I did an old Norwegian cast on of 56 stitches, and I don't know how many rounds I'm going to go on that yet. Probably, I usually do 20, but since these are shorter socks, maybe I'll do 15, and then I'll knit maybe 10 rounds in the leg before starting the heel. We shall see. So since I did not divide up my yarn into 2, I will just knit the first sock with you know, everything that I need to do with the contrast yarn or main yarn. I don't know which one is which at this point, and then do it on the second set of needles, and then I will be ready to do them 2 at a time in tandem on the feet sections. And it should go relatively quick since they're short socks. I feel like with short socks, you're essentially knitting like half a sock compared to like a long sock, right? So these are in a project bag that I sewed. It's a patchwork project bag. I think these pieces of fabric were like 5x7 maybe, and I just cut them up, divide them up into, I think that would be like 2.5-inch squares. Is that right? Or 2-inch squares? Well, anyway, I don't really remember. Oh, I didn't catch part of it here. Oh well, I guess I will be hand stitching this little frayed edge in that I didn't catch. Yeah, I love floral and drawstring bags. I did a jean box bottom drawstring cotton cord. No particular pattern. I just kind of make them as I want to, and in whatever fabrics that I have to whatever dimensions that I have that use up the majority of the fabric, especially if it's like small pieces. All right. The next work in progress I'd like to share with you is also a new cast on. Yay! I had shown you the yarns that I was going to use for this project, I think last episode or 2 episodes ago, and I finally cast it on because I cast this one off. It is the Rock It Tee by Tanis of Tanis Fiber Arts, and it is a tee that I've been wanting to cast on since it came out. I don't remember when it came out, last year or maybe the year before. It comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sizes for a finished measurement of either 32-inch chest circumference or 68-inch chest circumference. I'm knitting the second size for a finished circumference of 35 inches, giving me 3 inches of positive ease. This is knit on US 5 or 3.75 millimeter needles with a gauge of 24 stitches to 32 rows 4 inches stockinette stitch. I did not do a gauge swatch because when you start out there is no ribbing, it just starts out in stockinette, and so I can just measure my gauge right then, and if I have to start over, it's not a big deal. And I'm happy to say that I'm pretty sure I am on gauge. Pretty sure meaning because I didn't block it yet, and if it blocks out slightly bigger, then that's okay. So I feel like if I am on gauge, unblocked, once I block it, it's oftentimes slightly bigger, but not always. Kind of depends on the fiber content of the yarn that I am using, and if it is slightly bigger, then that's okay. So I have just started. I am using 2 yarns by a Canadian dyer, Sweet Georgia. Tanis is also a Canadian designer, and I am using the mohair silk sock. Here is the ball band on the screen. The mohair silk sock is 50% superwash merino, 15% silk, 15% mohair, 20% nylon. 437 yards for 100 grams. Now the original pattern has you knit the stripes in fingering alternating with mohair, but I don't like knitting mohair single-stranded. I just don't like it. I feel like I can't feel the stitches, and it's easier for me to drop stitches, and I don't know, I just don't like the feel of it. Plus, then it's a little more see-through, and for me, wearing it, I probably just wouldn't wear it that way. So, I am using 2 of the same base. This kind of taupey color is called Birch. And this silvery lavender color is called Lady Grey. Oops, my yarns are a little tangled here. And I just love how these 2 colors are going to work up in a subtle striping. The lighting is kind of all over the place today. It's like super sunny and then super cloudy. I had to turn on a light, so hopefully the colors are showing up okay. Now I will show you the start of mine. This is in a project bag by Morgan of Shop Knitting Nelly. I love this project bag so much. There's this fox, a tree, it's kind of moody purples. I just really like it. This one has a zipper. I don't love sewing zippers. I can, but they're not my favorite. The drawstring bags I feel like are really easy to sew, and zippers, I don't know, zippers are easy to sew too, but just not my favorite. So let's show you the beginning of this project. I have a progress keeper on here made by Maria of Woollen Forest. Forest Charm is her Etsy shop. I love this flower. I can't remember what this purple gem is called, but I really like it. So this is the start. The beginning you knit flat to get that V-neck shaping, and then later on, I believe, then you join, and you're doing raglan shaping at the same time. The pattern has you do yarn overs for the increases, but I change those to make one left and make one right. I feel like sometimes my yarn overs go over my stitch marker, and maybe it's because I need to put in a bigger stitch marker, but I find it really annoying. Plus, I didn't want a tee that had a lot of holes in it. I think you have like holes along the raglan increases in the front and back of the sleeve, and also along the sides of the sweater. And what I think I'm doing, so what I am doing for the raglan part is just doing make one right, make one lefts for all the yarn overs. And then for the side, I haven't read that far yet, but for the sides, instead of doing yarn overs, I think I'll just knit round and round and not have those holes there. But yeah, I'm really enjoying how this is knitting up so far. I have my first couple of stripes in. She doesn't tell you when to do your color changes. She just says like how many rounds you should be changing. So you just kind of have to keep track of that on your own. But yeah, I love how it's striping up. I think it's just as I envisioned, subtle but still apparent. And this gauge is so nice. It's a looser gauge on this fingering weight. And I think because the yarn I'm using has a little bit of silk in it, it's going to be nice and drapey. Yeah, I'm really enjoying how it's knitting up. Oh, here you can see how my increases look without the yarn overs. I think they look nice and tidy. Yeah, I'm loving how this is working up. So We shall see how far I get by the next time I am on here. I am not intentionally having like a new summer tea each time I record here, but I suppose the last 2 times, or including today, is how it is working out. But I am not pressuring myself to have another one done by the next time I am here. It's just kind of fun to get these warm weather garments out, and it's that and socks are what I have been enjoying making. I haven't really been knitting on shawls too much because just having like wool around my neck when it's 80% humidity doesn't sound super appealing. So I'll probably get back to those in the fall. Yeah, and it's just like more fabric. I feel like sitting on your lap working on shawls. But yeah, I think, is that it? Is that all I have for you today? I think so. I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention, but because I didn't write it down, I don't remember. I don't know if you're that way or not. I have to write everything down. I'm the type of person who has like notes everywhere. I keep like a planner journal so that I can jot down stuff that I need to do or need to remember to do or whatever it is. I'm also that person that once I do something, if it wasn't on my to-do list before, I will write it down so I can have the satisfaction of checking it off. It's partially that and partially to remember that I did it. But yeah, so I think that is it then. If I don't remember what I was going to say, I'll probably remember once I stop recording, and I'll try to remember it for next time if it is still relevant. With that, cheers to being creative. I hope you are doing well, and I will talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.